Hi, I'm Brad Sugars. In case you hadn't guessed by the accent, I am Australian by birth. I live here in Las Vegas now. My company, ActionCOACH, is one of many companies I've built. Being born in Australia, the American dream was interesting because it's actually what got us to move here, I guess, is an interesting part of it. And I think when you look at the whole American dream, the freedom and all of these things and the choices, I think it's changed quite dramatically. I don't think that people relate to the American dream the way, I'm 40 and I say my generation, but I think there is a level of deservedness that comes now. I guess being an outsider, I have a different perspective than a lot of people. I think a lot of people today take the American dream for granted. It's like a lot of people feel like they're owed the American dream. It's like, I was born here, so I should get this automatically, shouldn't I? And I think the dream is that you have the right to work. You have the right to do, to build a business, to build a career. You have the right to work your tail off and have the success that you earn. But ultimately I think that it has changed dramatically because the right to do that, people had to fight for that right. And when you had to fight and go to war for the right to have the ability for freedom of choice and freedom of expression, and when you had to fight for that and your parents fought for it and your brother fought for it and these are the parts of it, you actually really understood the value of freedom of choice, the value of being allowed to work for, and the value of being allowed to have your own business. You come here for the fact that, hey, I have the right and the ability to, if I work hard, I succeed. So has it changed for, I think across the world, I think across people it's changed. For me, has it changed? No, I don't think so. For my kids, have they got it instilled in them? I hope so. Look, I started ActionCOACH purely by accident. I started talking to business people about what happened and how I became successful, and some of them asked me could I help them, and so I started helping a few and then more, and eventually now we have over 1,000 offices in 39 countries teaching people how to run their business. And so, it was funny because when I came to America teaching people business, people were like, what do you mean you're going to America to teach them business? Don't they already know everything? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They're very good business people, but that doesn't mean everyone doesn't make mistakes and doesn't need help. So every single day of our life is in essence doing a lot of what you're researching, the American dream, helping people who have a dream of building their own business and creating their own financial and personal success and freedom of time and freedom of finances. We work with them every day showing them how. One of the greatest things about having the dream, and I teach a formula called dream, goal, plan, action. Having the dream is one thing, but if you don't put it into goals, then there's no time frame to it. If you don't put the goals into a plan, no use writing the goals. And if you don't take action on the plan, then you sit down and you look at the average person, and out of those four things, they're usually doing really good in one of them. Their action, they might be working their tail off, but they don't have the dream, they don't have the goals, they don't have the plans. And so, what we do at ActionCOACH is we help them put all four of those things into place. And I know that when I sit down and look at what we do, it's about helping people understand how. How do you actually do it? How do you get more customers? How do you get more sales? How do you get your customers to come back more often? What do you need to do to grow the business? What's the strategy? And of course, how do you manage the finances? Because that's a big part of it for a lot of people. But ActionCOACH, we work one-on-one and with groups of business owners across the world now, showing them what to do and how to do it, and helping them make their dreams come true, I guess. What happens is most business owners, they already know instinctively a lot of what to do. They already have an understanding instinctively of what to do, but they need someone to give them the confidence to do it. They need someone to, I wouldn't say hold their hand, but kind of just push them over the edge a little bit. It's like the old Voltaire, you know, and you watch it with birds, you know, the mama bird's going to push the baby out of the nest at some point and it's going to fly. But a lot of what happens with business owners, and people don't really realize this, but ownership of business is one of the loneliest things there could possibly be to do. You know, a business owner rarely can go home and tell their spouse about their problems. They don't want to worry their spouse about their problems. They can't run to their staff and say, hey, what do you think? I can't pay wages this week. How do you think I should fix that? You know, it's not that. Their friends rarely understand them. They'll go and try and chat to their accountant, but their accountant will bill them, for, you know, and it's like, okay, how do they get help for that? And what we do partly is we help their business owner, but a lot of what we do is build communities. We build communities of business owners where we bring owners of businesses together and we get them talking to each other. We get them conversing and they sit down and they help each other dramatically, because just knowing someone else is in the same position as you, or just meeting someone that says, yeah, I had that problem and here's how I fixed it. This is the three things I did. And saying, hey, can I call you next week when I'm trying to fix that? You know, those sorts of things of building a community, it empowers business. The thing, business owners need support. They need friends. They need someone in their corner. And if you can empower them to make decisions rather than fix the problem for them. And it's the same with employees. It's the same with, you know, you guys are students. Your lecturer's not here doing the work for you. They're sending you out to do the work. And what's going to happen? You're going to learn. Same happens with me as a boss. You know, my employees, they come to me with a question. I say, well, what do you think the answer is? Well, I think it could be this or this or this. I go, great. Well, which one do you think it is? Well, this one. And why do you think that? And what's the answer? And if that's not the answer, what would it be? And what about this? And what about that? And guess what? Now they've thought about it. And so next time you don't need to ask me that question. Excellent. Off you go. Entrepreneurs, what should they focus on? Find a great deal. Know your rules and do the work. And then once you got it, get to work. Yeah, go for it. I mean, the advice is learn how and then go after it. You know, if I can do it, if anyone can, you know, it's the simplest thing. If someone's done it before you, you can do it too. You know, and that's this very simple thing. But I would add one very important, or two very important lessons I got when I was very young by a gentleman named Jim Rohn, E. James Rohn. Jim said, never wish your life were easier, wish that you were better. You know, and he was very clear on the fact that most people spend so long wishing everything would change, when if you went to work on yourself, world does get better and it does get easier. You know, he gave me a piece of advice that I'll never forget. When I was 16 years of age, he said, son, read a book a week for the rest of your life. You know, and that was we're now 1,500 books ago. So I sit there and I say to people, if you can outlearn me, then you'll out-earn me. But you'll never earn more than you've learned to earn. If you've only ever learned to make 100 grand a year, you'll never make more than 100 grand a year. So learn how, then go after it. I think that's the simplest thing. Jim said it simply. He said, you know, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and eventually you won't have a job. You know, you won't need one. So what I find with a lot of people when it comes to education and how to be an entrepreneur is that they look at college education and book education as the only thing. My advice is that look at your job as not how much can I earn, but look at a job as what can I learn. You know, 10 years of having a job, doing different jobs for 10 years. At the end of that, you should have enough knowledge to go into business for yourself and make a success of yourself. You really should. You should have done enough work in different environments and had enough different bosses, enough mentors, enough people to learn from that you can walk out there and go, you know what, I got it. I got it now. I've studied the books. I've done Jim Rohn's thing, read a book a week. I've been and worked for this person. I've worked for that person. I've learned this. I've learned that. Now I'm good. I got the business. I'm going to go and look for deals.